Hey everybody, this is Brothaspeak podcast along with a few of our cast members. I'm already starting off wrong, but guess what? I don't give a damn. So, Brothaspeak podcast where we actually talk about several issues that affect us and only us and kind of give us more of an interest. When I say us, I mean black folk. All right, so black gay folk, not just any old folk. So I'm just going to go around the table like we normally do, just kind of see how everyone's week is going. And I'm going to start over to my right this time, which I normally say left. We're going to start over Darnell.
You know, it always confuses me when he says right, because my right is on the other side. I'm like, nobody's in the chair.
You know what? My right. There you go.
I don't know about y'all. I learned that in elementary school, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm on the right. I'm Darnell. Gotcha. Apparently the teddy bear Peter Parker.
Yeah, there you see, that's cool. All right. You owned it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll accept it. I'll allow it.
There you
go. Speaking of Peter Parker, something going on in my life is I saw Captain America Civil War.
I saw that.
You saw it?
Oh my God. I was like, I'm not a comic fan.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with that.
Really?
I fell in love with
good.
That. I fell in love.
I saw it twice in the theater.
Oh,
yes.
You stayed? You didn't go?
No, I went home. I saw it.
Okay, I was like, you just sat there and watched it back to back?
I stayed there for 4 hours, yeah. No, I saw it at 10 on a Thursday night, and so I didn't get out till like 12:30, and then I had to go back Saturday to see it again because I needed it in my life. But listen, I'm going to discuss this later, but it had Spider-Man, it also had Black Panther. Black Panther.
Okay, all right. I was like,
that's my dude, right?
You know what? I'm a fan. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to wait till we get to that moment.
Yes.
I definitely was excited when I saw that.
That's been owning my life for the past week, basically. Like, that's been my obsession. Yeah. Other stuff has gone on, but who cares? Like, really?
That's not important. It's really not.
Okay, Ricky, the Southern Boy Aries, how you doing?
I'm good.
I came up with the title.
Did he call me Aries?
Yeah, but he's a Virgo. He's a Virgo.
I thought it was Aries.
See?
Sorry, the Southern Boy.
The Southern Virgo.
And it sounded good.
It sounded good.
And I started to own being an Aries. And I was like, okay, well, let's just go with it.
The Southern Boy Virgo, how you doing?
I'm good. My week was good. It actually ended up with a good note yesterday. A friend came from out of town and we sat at the pool, had lime readers, and just kind of hung out and just...
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a decent week. So.
That's what Saturdays are about.
I wish I could agree with you. This is Chris, just in case I didn't introduce my name. But Saturdays work. Sometimes you just have to... the only reason I do additional work is to kind of bring in additional money, you know?
Yeah.
And it's work. But I'll be honest with you, I really didn't work. I really did. Because, I went to this one particular event, and this one particular mall, is dead. Why they chose to do this event at this mall is beyond me. It was boring. We were just talking about everything in general. Just hanging out, basically.
Getting paid to hang out.
That's pretty much.
That's not bad.
It was barely people. I'm like, this, like a portion, I'll just give you a picture. A portion of the mall is closed out. Like, no stores are there. And you're just like,
what's the point?
What am I here for?
Yeah.
Okay, but it is what it is. But I don't care. I got a little check coming. All right. So
hey, that's what matters most.
And bingo. That's my week. So now what we're going to do, we're going to swing over to pop. With correction, I'm going to change the name. Mr. Gave a great suggestion. It's going to be a Brothaspeak Culture Moment. That's what we're going to do. The culture moment. Both Brothaspeak Culture Moment. And with this segment, we swing this over to Mr. Darnell. Take it away.
Yeah, we're broadening it up a little bit.
Yes,
so we can bring in some other stuff. But this first topic is pure pop culture. It's about Black Panther.
Okay.
It's about the solo Black Panther movie. He was introduced in Captain America: Civil War, but in February of 2008, it's going to be a very
2008.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah,
2008.
Yeah, it's a long wait.
2018.
My bad.
Because you said
I don't know what year it is.
And he was like,
2008. I was like, what?
It's from the past. Yeah, it's a time travel movie. 2018 February is going to be
2018.
Yeah. Yeah, damn. 2018. Yeah, it's a long wait, but it's going to be a good.
So is there a reason why they're?
I really don't know. I think they should have done it earlier because
the
reaction to the character has been pretty fucking awesome, and that's what I want to talk about because on Friday they announced that possibly Lupita Nyong'o is going to be in the movie.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yes,
but Michael B. Jordan's definitely going to be in the movie.
Okay, this is gonna be nice.
And then the producer Kevin Feige said that the movie's going to be 90 to 95%
Black.
African and African American actors.
Wow.
Holy shit.
This is going to be good.
For a superhero movie, that is unprecedented.
It's unheard of.
Oh my
it's
God.
unheard of. It's pretty
fucking
awesome. And it's set, okay, let me tell you about Black Panther. He was created in the 60s by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, introducing an issue of Fantastic Four. And the thing is, he's the king of an African nation that is... It was completely immune to colonialism. Like, it was never taken over by white people. Nothing. It was, and it's the most technologically advanced nation in the world.
No way. Oh
yes.
Shit, I like that storyline.
Exactly.
I like that storyline.
It's gonna be full of like black scientists and black kings.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
like,
okay.
Cool shit. And so Black Twitter has been going nuts about this. When they found out who's gonna be in the movie, they started this hashtag called Black Panther So Lit.
Like,
yeah, leave it to us.
Yeah, leave it to us, right?
So lit. Wow. I like it already.
Yeah,
I know. It makes you want to tune in. Makes you want to know what they're talking about.
And I know last week you said, are we talking about real people? Honestly, the storyline, it seems like
that's
you are talking about real people.
Yeah.
When I saw the movie, I was like, oh, hell yeah. But one character, I never knew anything about this girl. She had this capability to really, her powers were from
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, okay. I couldn't think of her name or shit, but I was actually impressed with her too.
Yeah, no,
I was like, shit.
Awesome.
Okay.
You know, I really don't go for these kind of movies, but I think I'm going
you
to
better
watch
see
it.
this.
I may watch it twice.
There we go.
I may just sit in the movie theater and watch it back to back.
Just stay there for
I'll
5
tell
hours.
you,
I mean,
just watch it. Just go there, watch it. I guarantee. Now it's about a 3-hour film, right?
Yeah, it's almost 3 hours.
Okay. But watch it.
But it moves at a pretty fast clip, so
it does. It does.
I think you'd enjoy it.
Love the fight scenes.
Another thing that happened, Lauryn Hill.
Oh,
everybody's favorite.
And why do we say that? Why do we say that?
No, because I mean, she's Lauryn Hill. I think she's a genius.
She is.
She came out with the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. It's a masterpiece.
It is. It really is.
I mean that it's a fantastic album. She hasn't really followed it up with anything.
No, she kind of. I bought her MTV Unplugged album. I mean, it was not it was okay.
But it's not.
So was it anything new on that one that wasn't on the first one?
I mean,
or was it just live?
It was a lot of melancholy type, slow type. It seemed like almost like you want to slit your wrist. But she was in her moment. She was in that state of mind. But okay, all right.
Well, she had a concert last weekend that she was 2 hours late to.
Like Madonna.
But she's not Madonna.
She's not Madonna.
She's trying to get up on her coins.
You just gave her this grand introduction, and you just made it seem like she made a masterpiece. And
Madonna's made about like 10 times as many albums.
That's true.
You can't compare the two. Madonna, Lauryn Hill.
That's
like,
true.
People will sit
Madonna
and wait.
puts on a show, and Lauryn sits there with her guitar. But
true.
Clearly she has some issues.
Still, apparently.
After
how many years?
Yeah,
she should have gotten it together by now. They gave her time away that she would show house arrest or something, so she should have gotten it together.
She had a couple of kids, and maybe life kind of taxes and shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She had plenty of time to sit it down and get it together.
Yeah. She was supposed to be
sensitivity.
She was supposed to be at this concert in Atlanta last Friday night, and she was 2 hours late, and people started starting shit on Twitter as they do.
Sure.
They're like, Lauryn Hill just came out nearly 2.5 hours late to booze. Like, people were booing her when she came out. She came out there, apparently strummed the guitar for about half an hour, and then the venue was like, okay, we're closing.
We're done.
Because they get fined if they stay open any later by the neighborhood.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, that's the venue's curfew because they can't have music playing and people out.
Oh
and all
my
stuff.
God! Oh God!
So she can't. She tried, but she just couldn't hold it together long enough.
And honestly, if she does have like a genuine mental illness or something, I don't want to laugh about that. But it's like, I feel like a lot of these celebrities don't have people in their lives to truly help them.
Because it's all about them.
They're
getting
counting
what
their
they
money,
can get from them.
Exactly. Like,
I mean,
so it's kind of sad.
Oh man, I would like to hear that. I mean, because I really do like Lauren. I really
do.
And you know that, but certain people
incredibly
you just
talented.
keep pushing for. You want better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been almost 20 years since the miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and
really
she's
is.
still Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
And you want her to do well. You
Yeah.
want her to do better. But
Oh God! All right.
yeah, all right. The next story was about Drake and his new album that dropped.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like
New
Drake.
album.
I'm
He's like,
sorry.
ready
I
for it.
like Drake.
He's so ready.
He's so ready.
I like Drake. Go ahead.
He's so lit for Drake.
I know.
And guess what? His boyfriend. Oh, I'm sorry.
His boyfriend. Oh my god.
I'm not saying nothing.
Drop some tea. Right?
That sounds like a story. You got any?
Right? let me
Is he on there?
Google that.
I'm gonna
Drake
leave
have a
that
boy-
one
Now what you're about to talk about.
Well, he had a very good week. He finally got a Billboard Hot 100 #1,
Oh.
Whoa.
and
that's
his
nice.
album sold 1 million copies.
The
in
first
1
week?
Yeah. First
So
week.
he beat Beyonce?
Yeah, he beat Beyonce. He
Shit.
beat
Wow.
Beyonce. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
I mean,
Now, is this trend going to continue, and is he going to, stay on top?
I think so.
In
I mean, this is
comparison
his
to her.
highest sales week
Yeah,
ever.
that's a high.
That's
I've never
good
heard
for
of that.
1 week.
I'll be
Yeah,
honest
really
with you.
good.
I mean, Drake consistently comes correct for me. He always comes good for me. So I mean,
Well, you seem like you just really, really are
I
liking
like
him.
I
anyway.
really do like Drake. I am a Drake
Yeah.
fan. I am a Drake fan.
Mhm,
You know? I'm a Beyonce fan too.
Yeah.
But I'm not a Beehive. But I am a Beyonce fan.
That's just they are just like a whole different set of fans.
That would have
Yeah.
to be your second job. If you
I know, right?
Yeah.
Then you have to be committed to that.
You have to be real committed. You have to be on your phone, on
All the
Instagram.
time.
Anybody talking shit about Beyonce, you have the B icon,
Exactly.
B emoji ready.
Waiting.
You need that in your clipboard at all
my God.
times.
You're right. I think you're right about that.
So yeah, he had a very, very good week.
That's good for Drake.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you
good.
know,
That's good.
Go Canada.
I like and apparently, his new Canada artists are coming out, and Drake is actually going to help push
That's
those.
good.
I
That's
like
good.
that.
Oh, yeah.
Your home team. Your
Yeah.
home team.
He's big about his home.
That's good, man. I
You
like
know?
that.
But isn't he originally from Memphis, or his dad is from Memphis? Just
You know, I'm
saying,
not
he
sure. I thought he
grew,
was from Toronto.
he grew up in Memphis, and I think his mom moved.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about that.
yeah.
I'm gonna look
Because
that.
even in his lyrics, it's one of the recent songs he talked about his dad, and I guess how his dad wasn't really there. He said his dad was from Memphis and he grew up there, and then he moved. So he talks about this in his lyrics.
Shit, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Really, I gotta Google that.
I gotta Google that one. Okay.
Because I only caught it because Memphis is like right down the street from me. So I was like, oh, okay, all right.
Okay, all right. Okay, Ricky, I'm gonna look it up now.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
Repping from Memphis.
I didn't know
I
that.
know.
I didn't know that. That's a good, interesting. All right, cool.
Who knew?
Yeah.
The last bit of news that I have is they're opening this September a Smithsonian Museum for the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture.
You know what? I did remember hearing that story.
Yeah, I was actually in DC in February, and I saw them constructing the building. It's a pretty interesting bit of architecture. It's right by the Washington Monument. There's actually a picture here. It's right by the Washington Monument.
Nice.
You can literally walk to it.
So is this the one where they were speaking about Bill Cosby?
Yes.
How they were going to put him
The
in,
question,
and they said they were going to add in
I feel like-
all the bad stuff that recently took place. They're
Really?
with the
Why
drugs.
would you do
and-
that?
It's just like they're tearing apart something that's great within him, and you're putting something in that's negative, and it's like do you have
It's
to
like,
do
what's
that?
the
But
point of doing
the
that?
question
Yeah.
is, when they do something for Washington or Jefferson,
Do they add
say,
in the
hey, they were
negative?
slave owners,
Yeah.
and
Exactly.
they
You're
raped
right.
their slaves
You're
and
right.
owned people.
Yeah.
Do they do that?
It's like, what's the point?
Is that I'll be honest with you. The thing about it is, when it came down to Bill Cosby in particular, certain personalities you want to rip apart. Bill Cosby did a lot of specials pertaining to black education. He really put a lot of things out there. Like, for instance, the test when it came down to young black children really looking at the black doll versus the white doll. Which one was actually the good doll? And they would always point out to the white doll. They were doing that back before. He would do specials. You can pull up on YouTube right now. Old specials to get black people to understand, get educated, as well as also do well for yourself. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for Bill Cosby, there would be no Oprah Winfrey. Yeah. There would be no a bunch of other people.
He opened a lot of doors.
So,
but also in my mind, I'm thinking while he was doing all that good stuff, he was also drugging and raping women. Like,
and guess what? Guess how many slave owners are out there doing the exact same thing?
No, trust me, that's the horror. Like, I'm not saying one is better than the other, but it's really. I think there has to be a balance between their achievements and their actual character. You know what I mean?
You know what my mother used to love this particular artist. You'll never find
Lou Rawls.
Okay, Lou Rawls, and every black person older than me will always say, without his black ass, your ass wouldn't be here. He will always say that. And the thing about it is, he's done a lot for the black community. But I'm not sure if I would include his wife beating in his history. I'm not sure if I would like to include it because it takes away what his heart was. Now, mind you, a lot of these people were fucked up. I'm not going to say that they weren't. Yeah. But I'm not sure exactly should that because some things overshadow, and do you really want to focus on that? That's the only thing that's my little concern. Yeah. That's the only.
So that'll be interesting to see how they.
Yeah, I want to see how they incorporate.
Yeah, you know, what are you going to say? Well, how are they going to say
like, how are you going to incorporate that? Like, you're going to have a picture of Felicia Rashad, and then, oh, by the way,
his victims on the side.
Yeah, how are they going to...
And them being angry and pointing.
By the way, how many celebrities have drug problems? How many celebrities have things that
Most of them.
No. How many celebrities, are really going to have sex on any old thing, and just, how many? So that if you want to add the bad life, add it for all. That's
because they're humans just like we are, and at the end of the day, you can't point out negative things to overshadow the good things.
Trust me, we all did some shit. And we all did some great shit.
Exactly.
I'm gonna read just a selection from an article from TheRoot.com, and I just want to go into a little bit of what will be in the museum. I think it'll be really good for us. It's scheduled to open in September in Washington, D.C. The museum's exhibits tell the stories of blacks in America from enslavement to emancipation and beyond. Curator Mary Elliott said everyone who visits will be able to relate to the artifacts, history, and culture stored inside. Few know what it's like to live in a slave cabin like the one from South Carolina that sits in the lower galleries of the building, but maybe visitors can relate to the struggle to improve one's status and work toward a better life. That's actually really interesting to me. I've always wanted to go to like a plantation and see like the slave quarters.
I agree with you. I did
just to because there's this trend of white people having their weddings on plantations.
Yeah,
really.
It's like you're gonna have.
I have not heard of.
You haven't heard of that?
No. I've heard of it.
That actress Blake Lively. She had her Blake Lively. Have you heard of her from Gossip Girl? Yeah. She had her wedding on a plantation.
Really?
It's like you're gonna have a wedding at this place where my ancestors were enslaved
because it doesn't affect them.
It doesn't. They don't even connect it.
No,
they're just like, oh, this is a pretty. It's so disrespectful.
Yeah, this is like having a wedding and a funeral.
It's like having a wedding at Auschwitz, like at a concentration camp.
And the Jews, they would be all upset about that. The world would hear about that.
Well, you know what, you're right about that, and I don't know. It's one of those things that if it really doesn't affect, especially for young generation, I hate to tell you, statistics shows a lot of people, the younger ones, it just doesn't really.
It doesn't resonate.
It doesn't resonate. It really doesn't. It really
doesn't.
And it's sad to say, but
then it's true.
It doesn't. All right,
that opens in September. Everyone, please, if you get an opportunity, check it out. I can't wait to go back to see what it's like.
For what?
The museum.
Honestly, you know what? It would be. Yeah. I think the trip to go there would actually be kind of nice. Just check it out. And this opening this September, right?
Yeah, and all the Smithsonian museums are free.
That's nice. Okay, well, I would definitely check it out. I know I've only been to DC once.
Yeah,
and I've never been, so this is
it would be great. Something that's just kind of great to check out. All right, so this is the point we actually swing over to the main topic. The main topic today. Now we want to kind of tackle religion in a little bit, but the thing about it is we've discovered something. It's a very big, broad topic. It's a very big, broad big old thing, and
It
you gotta take it in layers, take it in pieces, like a little crumb cake. So
we need 6 days and 1 to rest in order to discuss religion.
Literally.
So the first sliver that we're taking is called "Pray the Gay Away." Now, when it comes to praying the gay away, and everyone historically always thought, when it comes down to the demon inside you and all that other stuff. And the reason why we decided to tackle this subject, because we wanted to see how the black families really addressed it with church, as well as also homosexuality. Now, I just pulled up an interesting article. I'm coupling it together with another one. Mainly, this is called "Parenting in the Black Community: Why Raising Children is Different for Us." And I'm going to read just a couple of things. In the study, Parenting Styles, African American and White Families with Children, findings from an observational study revealed that male children are parented more harshly than female children. While some black parents do this in an attempt to be prepared their sons for realities of white supremacy, their style of parenting often sends the message that aggression and violence are acceptable forms of behavior. The American Sociological Association also published in 2002 a study that indicates African American parents favor the disciplinarian or authoritative approach for parenting. The study involved 302 African American adolescents and their mothers and revealed that black parents have a more take charge philosophy to parenting than white middle class counterparts. The study also states that black parents may be more harsh on their children in an attempt to prepare them for a world that is filled with discrimination and societal biases that do not favor people of color. Now, there is also a strong religious component to black parenting when compared to white parenting. Another study conducted by American Sociological Association reveals that regardless of social class, black parents are more likely to send their children to Bible camp and Sunday school, while their white peers are encouraged to participate in activities such as piano lessons and soccer camp. Now, first let me stop there. I had to say, I was raised the exact same way
I think
that
most
it
of us
says.
were.
But I also had to think, quite frankly, when it came down to that particular statement, was the fact that a lot of this stuff costs money to be able to do a lot of those things. My parents, my father in particular, I never forgot, I wanted at one point to be part of the Boy Scouts. I wanted to know exactly what the Boy Scouts, what all these white people, talk about the Boy Scouts, and you would hear, the boys in your class talk about the meetings that they had and where they went. I wanted to be a part of that. So we went. We went to our first meeting to talk about the Boy Scouts, and we went there, and we enjoyed everything what they talked about. We were geared to go until they gave that price tag.
You're like, they gotta go.
That price tag was $1,200 just for one child, me, to go be part of the Boy Scouts. Now, my father, and looking back, I appreciate everything in my life because you're always able to look back and point of reference to something. As a father, you want to be able to give your kids, and your mother, also, by the way, you want to be able to give your kids different experiences that you never had before. Yeah. Right. But when my dad got that bill, and he had to give the disappointing information that, son, sorry, we just can't afford it right now. And that's really. And then when you look at Bible study and Sunday
school's free, right?
Thank you. It's free. It is free. So I look at that and I kind of say, well, I understand the findings completely, but also there's a couple of things coupled with that fact. But nonetheless, I wanted to kind of share that. And then I came across another piece of information. This was actually with the gay African youth. All right. Now, this is actually from a professor, an associate professor at Rutgers University, and he actually is he's the director of the Master of Social Work program at Rutgers University. His name is LaSalle, Michael LaSalle. Okay. And now this is his information that he actually found. On a clinical level, targeted interventions, especially those that include the young man's biological father or father figure, can assist families to cope with, for many, is an unexpected and troubling reality. With LaSalle, who actually works at the gay youth and their families in private practice and outlines interventions for families in transition. Child rearing for the parents of a black son can be especially daunting given the increased risk for poverty, HIV and AIDS, and other illnesses and imprisonment faced by African American men. Black parents often feel guilty when they learn their children is gay, and many times African American gay youth, before even coming out, they distance themselves from their families. Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. In his study, LaSalle observed that many parents found that having a confidant with whom they could share emotions helped them realize that their son's sexual orientation was not caused by faulty parenting, and they risked losing their child if they did not accept him being gay. So black parents may be less likely to mourn the loss of a quote-unquote normal life for their gay sons, perhaps understanding that normal life was less of a sure thing, according to LaSalle. In his book, Coming Home, Helping Families Adjust to a Gay or Lesbian Child. That was a book. He found, or quote unquote, I found that parents of African American gay youth said, "You have everything going against you as a black man. This is one more strike against you." Conversely, parents of white children would state, "You have everything going for you, and now this." You know,
opposite.
So it was an interesting point. And we kind of point that out. So one, let's just tackle the subject of just being a black gay male.
Right. I think a lot of what you were saying earlier, like about the more harsh parenting.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of this actually goes back to slavery.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think
like
so too.
the way black parents tend to discipline their children.
Yes,
becomes
yes.
tradition.
It's very similar to how
Very
perhaps
similar.
the master would
Very
discipline
simple. Thank you.
their
I agree.
slaves. You
I
know,
agree.
it's a harsh punishment. That's the only way you can learn things. And also, the thing that our answers went to, is the Bible.
Right.
That's where you found your comfort. There's a higher power. This is not all there is.
Yeah.
So even still to this day, that's our comfort food.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
it's connected, like you were
Yeah.
saying, with during slavery. That's what they went to. They sought
Exactly.
out God, and everything. They figured, okay, well, God will take care of everything.
Exactly. This is happening for a reason.
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
and that's
we'll
the mentality
eventually-
that they take, but it's not always that, because it's not always God that's in those things.
Right.
And that's a misconception that has been carried on from year to year, from generation to generation, and it's not always that.
Exactly.
People always want to say, if your car doesn't start in the mornings because you're and it's going to make you late for work, the devil's trying to keep you. It's not that. Your car just won't start.
And like me personally, I'm not religious, but I know that within religions, God gives you free will, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So you have free will to make your own decisions.
That's
It's,
correct.
You
That's
know,
right.
like God isn't always. He's there. He's beside you, but he's not. He's not the one making your hand hover over that
Right.
mouse or keyboard or whatever. You know.
Right.
He's saying, go make your own decision, right or wrong.
Exactly.
It's up to you.
Exactly.
And
And that's a really good way of looking at it, because a lot of people don't look at it like that.
they
That's
don't.
a really
They
good way.
think that, you know, God is
in their life every day.
Like he's
and
in
they
front of
are-
a chessboard, like
Yeah.
moving you from
Yeah.
piece to piece, and that's not the way it works.
It's not.
And the funny part about it is when it comes down to religion in itself, and because we always use the demon, them demons inside
That's
of
what
them,
they-
and you know,
yeah.
and for a lot of the I believe, you know, in my own personal opinion, when it comes to the older gay community, a lot of them did not come out.
Oh, no.
A lot of them distanced
They
themselves.
wouldn't dare.
They
They
you
wouldn't
know,
dare come
Oh
out.
no,
Wouldn't dare.
that was something that was like, are you kidding me? You
Yeah.
want to be killed today or not? You know,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it was something that I think, in my personal opinion, a lot of the black gay males of previous times, they had to go off somewhere else. Now, let me go to college away, far away
Right.
from,
Yeah,
and it kind of correlates to that distancing themselves from the family. You know, and not only that, but let's be honest. Everybody know Johnny a little bit different. Let's keep that shit real.
You always know, but it's like one of those don't ask, don't tell policies in the Black American
Do you
family.
guys recall this video that was viral a few years ago? It was this kid who was like in front of his congregation, And
I ain't gay no more.
I ain't gay no
Oh
more.
my God, yes, that was so funny.
I don't like men no more. I like women.
Women.
That was so
He is one of those kids that you
Oh my
see in the
God.
church that like leads the choir that everybody knows
Yeah, he's a lady.
Yes.
He's
And
a lady.
but it's never stated.
But I just wonder why is that so prevalent and so accepted and but ignored, like silently ignored. You know
let me
I
tackle
know.
that.
I pretty much know where you're gonna go with this.
Okay. Every generation raises another generation.
Yeah.
The first generation is called the what? Silent generation. Serious. Then you have the baby boomers. Then you have Generation X, that's me, and then you have Generation Y, the millennials. The silent generation will keep a secret for the rest of their life until the day they died.
Yeah.
And then when they actually told you, oh yeah, by the way, your auntie not really your auntie.
Yeah.
It's like, they would keep that secret for that's not really your mama. That's not really your mama.
Yeah.
You would, what? It's tragic, but that secrecy is actually still ruling the church today.
Right.
If you think of the elders, they come from that generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, they may have slept with 20 of the mothers.
Everybody, they have kids all throughout the church.
Or like the pastor's been diddling little boys, and it's just
and nobody says
nobody gonna say nothing.
They're not gonna say anything.
Ignored until they're 80, and they're like, "Well, I knew he was special. I knew he was different." One of those things.
It is ruled by the silent generation,
Right?
And they don't want to give that seat up. Because they give that seat up. What else they got to look forward to? Death? They ain't got nothing else to do,
Yeah.
But the thing about that is that's why you see so many different types of churches out there, because people are not just settling just for the old tradition of what was, because it doesn't fit with where they are now. So you have to change, you have to evolve, because without that, it's like, what are you doing?
It's kind of
There's
funny.
no point to what you're doing.
I did see statistics, and I was pulling up numbers and statistics as much as I could possibly find, and I found that each generation, less and less church. Millenniums,
Yeah.
And there's one article that says millennials are taking us to hell. I mean, it was just like, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, who wrote that? A silent generation or a who wrote baby boomer? Who wrote that? But each generation, less and less, including black, doesn't want to go to church.
Yeah.
They find something else, but they do not want to go stick to the traditional values anymore.
And that's the key word. That's the problem, is tradition. It's like you can't force somebody to take on a tradition. You can't let it has to, like I said, evolve and grow and change as the world grows, because nothing stays the same.
But you know what? A lot of people want to.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to stay the same. And the more I actually get a better understanding in terms of where we came from, yes, I get it. They had to hold on to something because they didn't know exactly what else to hold on to. There's a lot of information that really, even if you go just religion in itself and go into Jesus in itself, it's a white God. You're looking at the face of your oppressor.
That's what they want you to picture.
Right.
As
The actual
white Jesus.
Yeah.
Really, white Jesus, seriously.
Hippie Jesus everywhere.
But,
oh my God.
And guess what? That hippie Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that face was the face that they wanted you to believe, not really understanding. A lot of us not really knowing that the Christianity that they had in Africa was completely different. It was completely different. But also now I did find out something else. The face of Jesus changes according to the culture.
Yeah.
It changes everywhere you go.
That's exactly how I feel about religion. There are 7 billion people in this world.
Yes, and they change it to fit.
And the thing is, all religions are, some can be vastly different, but they all have like a certain consistency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a common thread. There's
a common thread. So I figure there has to be like, I believe in a higher power, but I don't assign myself to one religion because that seems so restricting to me.
Right.
Because, like I said, there's so much in common with the different religions.
And you can miss out on knowing something that could help you with something else if you just stay stuck into that one mindset or that one religion. Because I'm kind of the same. Even though I grew up Christian Baptist, I try not to limit myself to what it is that I'm open to. Some things I won't, because it's just something you don't want to open that door. You don't want to cross over to that.
Exactly.
But at the same time, there's so many things that you can learn by sitting down and having a conversation with somebody who's a Buddhist, with somebody who is non-dualist. You can learn so many things from these people
really
and
can,
incorporate
actually.
it into who you are and change the way that you see everything.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I actually did want to be curious and kind of see what the Jewish people do in their synagogues.
Yeah.
I would just sit and watch. I really want to do that. I really want to do that.
I'm gonna mention two pop culture things because that's my street.
All right.
I don't go to church, but I go to Netflix. The first is on the last season of Orange Is the New Black. There's a black character. Her name's actually Black Cindy, and she's pretty awesome. And what happened was at their lunch, she wanted to have a better lunch, and they offered what is it called? They offered the Jewish there's a Jewish meal that they offered, and it's better than.
It's not
my.
It's like the name for the dinner or whatever it is.
Yeah, like it's been prayed over, I think, or something.
I'm not up on.
Anyway, so they said they told her in order to have this meal, you have to basically to get it on a consistent basis, you have to convert to Judaism. So she said, "Sure, I want better food because this food's shit." So she started the process.
Oh my god!
And spoiler alert, but she found by the last episode of that season that she actually really connected to the tenets of Judaism.
No
way. One thing that spoke to me is that in the Jewish culture, apparently they don't believe in heaven or hell. Mm-hmm. Well, they have a version of heaven, but it's not called like the Christian heaven. Okay. But they don't believe in hell. So
they think that if you ask for forgiveness, I think everything's washed away. And
if you don't, that doesn't mean you're going to burn for eternity. And that really spoke to me on a level to where
I did not know this.
Like,
I'm like, are you serious? I knew. What other religion? Not Mormonism, but I knew that. Oh God, the people that actually go to your door all the time.
The
Jehovah's
Witness. Yeah.
I was told Jehovah's Witness kind of believes the same thing. Oh no! Wait a minute. Once you're buried, you're buried. That's it. You don't go nowhere.
There's nothing.
They already selected a few people. They select. Oh, okay. They already have their selection. So you're already dead, and you stay there. That's what I do know.
So that actually really connected with. I like the idea that no matter as opposed to like not thinking that bad people get punished, it spoke to me in a way to where there's an all-forgiving God. There's an all-forgiving entity that accepts you.
That should be the common thread because that's what it really is. We're the ones who make the traditions, and we're the ones that say just because you're gay, you're forever bound to hell.
Well, let me tell you just brought me back to my memories. My grandmother, especially you also use the Bible as a form of, I'm sick of some of y'all running around my house, sit down, we're going to have Bible study. If you don't listen to you will always hear the honor thy mother and thy father, thy days be long. You heard that to the end.
And that was their way of keeping us in our place.
It really was.
Keeping you in line.
And not only that, but when you're like, damn, we can't do nothing wrong. And that's how you felt. You're like, can't we miss a day of Sunday? No, you cannot. You're going to burn in hell. That's exactly
what you get.
That's what you feel. It was like a form of a discipline.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Pin you down.
And actually, in line with that is my second point. The other pop culture thing was in 12 Years a Slave, there's a point where the slave owner is speaking to the slaves on a Sunday and reading passages from the Bible, basically saying, you're meant to be subjugated to us. You're meant to be enslaved.
Oh. Wow! Oh my God!
And it. At one point, the Bible was used as a tool
to keep
us.
It really was
to keep us in line,
and it still is.
It kind of sounds like what your grandmother was doing to you.
No, seriously, Pentecostal.
It was a type of fear to instill in you.
It was.
It's tradition. That's what is and that's where so many different religions derive from. Is that they take pieces of the Bible and they twist it to make it fit what they want it to fit, and you cannot do that
all the time. And it is something that. It's something I always said. Let's take a quick little break. We have a little guest that just came by. Hold on just a second. All right, just let everybody know that was no guest. It's actually one of our co-hosts. We thought the bill collector. All right, so it's JT. Say what's up.
I
JT.
am coming to collect the bill.
So just gotta continue the conversation. What we basically were talking about is regards to some of the history, some of the experiences also that we have actually had growing in church, black and gay, how the church used it as kind of a disciplinary type of form of way of doing things, sticking in order, staying in line, and actually just a little thing to kind of catch you up. Also, when it came down to Darnell, he made an interesting observation. It's very similar to how the slave masters treated us, and we use that same tactic in church. So one of the next questions that does come up is when it comes to the black community and how black parents address the gay issues in the household. Now, for me, I can definitely say that honestly, I didn't come out. I did not. Whatever my feelings were, I kept that shit inside.
That's just something that it's like learned.
Yeah,
you just
don't expose.
Yeah.
You already know. Number one, growing up black, you know exactly how critical and how criticizing we can be. We'll talk in the church. We'll talk outside. We'll just talking to people, and we will gossip, sanctified and holy side and everything. So it doesn't matter. So when we actually learn to kind of be silent, to use that silent generation's tactics, I think.
And you're held captive to it because there's the people that are holding you captive. Those are the ones that love you and you're supposed to love.
Right.
So you wouldn't dare speak out of term to them. So it keeps you locked into that place.
And all of that, but a matter of fact, this comedian, it's the funniest thing because I kept it on my Instagram, and I'll show you guys. She she basically gave a depiction of what white parents used to do when it came down to a white child touching a hot stove. Mommy, it burned. Oh my God, honey, are you okay? Are you okay? Let's call the ambulance. Black parent, Mommy, it burned me. That's because it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot. I told the black ass.
That's what you get.
Come here. I mean, it was the funniest thing. I'll show it to you.
But it's true.
But it's true.
Right.
We use that as a form of discipline. Right. And on top of that, so for me personally, how would you be able to address anything when back in our day, you didn't even give it to an address?
Yeah.
They may have had some inkling. They may have had someone, but they dare not even come to you either. They never came to you
because they didn't want to know.
No.
They didn't want to know.
They knew something.
Especially a father, they didn't want to know that their son was gay or he was a sissy, he was this, because that meant that you can't carry on the tradition of your father. Right. So that makes him feel like maybe he wasn't a good parent or he didn't do what he was supposed to do to raise you. What it does,
it attacks his masculinity.
Exactly.
Bingo.
By you being more feminine, because he feels, I raised a girl, I raised somebody who's feminine, but that's not in actuality that's not true, because gay men, we can be whatever. Right. It's not that we are put into a certain box. We can be whoever we want to be. The gay face can be whatever it is that you choose for it to be.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong. This is for those who are capable of hiding it. Now, for those who weren't,
some just they're not good with that. Cheap shot.
I'm just.
But it's true.
I know. I'm saying some of them who are a little bit feminine. Like one particular, I saw one show where the guy said, I couldn't be in the closet because I didn't know what the closet was. He was basically just out feminine.
No idea anything was wrong.
I get what you're saying, because some people, you see it from birth. And other people,
it's true.
But it's a reality.
It's true.
Some people you see it from birth, and as the church would say, that's that spirit I got. But anyways, you see it from birth, and it's like it's
one of those things that honestly I think both sides, the child and the parent, was afraid to address.
Right. So it's just not talked
about. It's not talked about at all.
But and it's
at least during, I should also break it down by generation, at least during the Generation X, and I would probably even go as far as say maybe in baby boomers. They just did not address.
They didn't. I don't think they knew.
Millennials,
I don't know about that one. They are out in
some of them.
No, not all. Some of them, but
millennials are from like 1980 to like 95 or something. So there's a pretty big
further than that to now, aren't they?
Go ahead.
No, in regards to like praying the gay away, did you guys ever encounter that when? Perhaps, I don't know if you all had like coming out stories, like where you come home and sobbing like, Mama, I like boys. But were you ever told to, maybe you need to go to church more. Maybe you need to, read your Bible a little bit harder.
Okay.
Did you ever have that?
First of all, the church is very, you grow with a certain fear about the church. I'm not sure if everybody else had that fear. It's a certain fear you have about the church.
You revere the
until
the
I
church
got about 14.
And then, depending on your connection is the church. My grandfather was the minister. I was the drummer, the deacon, the junior deacon, the usher at time when they needed me.
The janitor.
So I'm a janitor too. Let me tell you. So the role that I have as being, that's pastor. That's the pastor.
So you had a reputation and a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
on
you bingo.
So you could not do anything.
Hell no, I wasn't. I'm not this guy.
Nothing.
I was never gonna do that. I would never even think about it.
See, for me, I had fun in the church.
Ooh, you look like you did.
Nam your horenge.
You look like you look like you was jumping in for different reasons.
Yes. But no, my true story is I was very deep into the church. I wanted to be married by 23 and make bishop by 25. I was really that deep into it. I was on all the organizations. It was not a Sunday that I didn't go to church, that I didn't do anything, as if I was either in the choir or the usher board or stuff like that. But in my transition of being that way, when I started asking questions and nobody can answer, that what made my turnaround. Mm-hmm. And now, if it ain't a casket or an arch up there at the altar, I ain't going. No, because I've learned a lot that a lot of people wouldn't address. And I still respect people who believe in the Bible and church and all that. Just don't push it on me. Just don't push it on me.
That's an interesting
That's kind of interesting because if you grew up in a black family, it was pushed upon.
And
then
I tell them, I challenge them on what they do.
That was a demon. That was a demon inside you.
Yeah, I get that all the time. You know, my mama want to damn turn on the light of the church when they open the doors. You know, she want to be the one to hit the light switch so y'all can see. But that's where I come from. That's where I grew up. My dad joined the Church of Christ, which is a totally different ball game. Because they don't do this, they don't believe in that. They don't do this, they don't believe in that.
So they definitely wouldn't accept being gay or lesbian.
My dad don't like. He said it's my lifestyle. He don't like my way of living, but he respect me to the fullest.
And that's my question too. I think a lot of the misconception comes from what people believe is a lifestyle.
Right.
But
it's my way of life.
Being gay and lesbian, you live just like anybody else. You have a job.
Right.
You need to have a place to live.
It's not a lifestyle.
It's a way of life.
It's an existence.
And
it's a way of life.
Yeah. But what they see is, or the things that's pushed at them are all the bad things. So those are the things that they want to believe. But it
promiscuity.
takes but it takes for those who are not that to be able to stand up and say that's not representative of me.
But no, the thing is,
and that changes their mindset because now they know that they love you and you're not that. So let me think about whatever it is I thought about being gay or lesbian.
Did you ever get read your Bible more and stuff pushed on you after you came out?
And to be honest with
not
you,
even after, before you even came out. Right?
No, of course. But I'm saying just for the topic, pray the gay away, which is I know with a lot of white people, for example, when their children are gay, they'll send them to conversion therapy camps and things like that. Black people tend to do that. We can't afford that shit.
Exactly. We gonna beat that shit out of you. I'm gonna beat your faggot ass.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. What I discovered when it comes to the praying of the Bible. My mother and my grandparents would use it every opportunity in every type of conversation. It could be about sports and then relate it back to God. Because back in the time, when football was around, the Lord Jesus, and it'd be like, how did this come across in the Bears versus the Giants? How did this conversation come up? And they would find a way to interject the Lord in a conversation so really. It came to me. It also lets you know the dynamics of the family to where you understand the structure of where you're at family-wise. Number one, when the older elder said something, you did not dispute. Let's get that fact put out there. They said something, that's it. And matter of fact, I even grew up in the type of family where no matter if I'm wrong, you don't dispute me.
Yeah.
So if you come up that way,
started.
started.
You were raised not to challenge, and I've actually just gotten to the point where I speak up more for myself.
At the age of what? Now in your 30s, right? You know.
You see how you tried me.
Okay, listen, I'm 39.
He snuck one in. You ain't gonna let him steal you like that.
I will say it. I'm proud to say I'm 39.
But I get where you're coming from, because in my family, especially on my father's side, it was like that. One thing, and I actually, as a kid, was, I'll say scary, because I grew up with that church. You don't fight. You don't do this. Turn the other cheek. All that bullshit. But you know what? I got tired of that shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And turn the cheek, start punching the bitch in their cheek. You get what I'm saying? So created that ball of fire that I am too. So you know the beast that people see in me come from the church as well, because it's from being balled up.
So let me ask you this: because sometimes I think that can be when you have to be that person, it can affect you in a negative way, because you train yourself to think that who you were before isn't who you should be. So you create this different person, and you go about things in a wrong manner sometimes, and it doesn't take you to do a lot of things. So do you think that at some point that kind of affects you?
No. No. Probably in the beginning, but not now.
So you've matured, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's the word you want to use. See, I have to say this, and a lot of people don't like when I explain I aged. If you're telling me something, and I use a churchman was trying to tell me something, she was wrong, and I corrected her, and oh my Lord Savior Jesus Christ, she went scripture quoting. The asshole showed up. Just because you scripture quoting don't mean that you're right. You still ain't answer the question, because you are wrong. You understand?
She didn't know how to answer it.
Right. So that's why I say it created that ball in me, because before I used to say, okay,
but I think that's a good thing. That's just you, because
but but in the beginning,
you grow from that moment, and you learn to challenge what people say to you.
But in the beginning, well, she quoting Bible scriptures. I can't go against the Bible.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, but that's why I say it created that beast, because of.
But that beast was created to help others too,
right?
If you really think about it, because there are a lot of gays that are out there who have nobody to look toward to say, I'm going to model myself after you, because you take on these problems, you ask questions, you don't take shit from anybody.
Right.
And that helps them to come out to stand against whatever it is that people throw at them with the Bible. So it's like...
So that's kind of the results from growing up in a environment where, hey, I'm going to go to Leviticus 2018 or whatever and tell you you're wrong, even though that's not even part of the argument. So it's kind of made you a stronger person, because you're willing to fight.
Exactly.
I trust me, I love my time in the church. I still enjoy old school gospel. You hear me turn to old school gospel like Shirley Caesar in her beginning days is Yolanda Adams, Vicky Winans, and even though I don't believe in the word Jesus, King Jesus is one of my favorite songs. And I'm telling you this from experience, because I like the music. I like it
does something to you.
It does.
I'm used
depending on what it is.
Well, see, I went to
some is like they're so depressing. I can't listen to it.
But no, I like that. I like that upbeat gospel with the choir behind it, with the 3-part harmony.
Oh. Okay.
If it got a 3-part harmony in it caught my attention. But that's me being into music.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you hear me listen to gospel music, don't come up to me and say, oh, I thought you ain't go to... No, I don't. But Jesus would work it out. I might blast it all the way to my damn radio St. Max. The old version, not the new version, because the new version got some hate in it.
You know what the results for me personally? The results for me, honestly, don't get me wrong. I've become to get a better understanding. I didn't want, because I said one of these goals, and I kid you not, one of my goals is to read the Bible from front to back, because I've heard too many things. I've heard way too many things, and let me tell you, it's a long, drawn out process. I tried it, and it's like, Lord Jesus, I'm calling out his name, and it was like, okay, let me take this in pieces, but you really, for me, to from front,
because it's difficult to read it like that.
I got the book for Deuteronomy. And I was done.
But the thing about it is, as far as the actual result, I'll be honest with you, there's still a fear within the family structure when it comes to your grandparents and your parents. There's still that fear. So you did not go against it regardless of what. It's almost like the parenting style was basically like a slave master.
Yeah.
And you did exactly what you're supposed to do. Shut up and go do it. If you don't do this, I'm going to bust you upside your motherfucking head. And now, if you was holy, if you don't do this, I'm going to bust you upside your head and pray about it afterwards. You know, it's like that.
But it's trained behavior.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? You only know what you see and what you do. So that's the way it comes. Reason that the black race is so firm and so strict because of it's trained behavior. What we did, what our ancestors went through. You understand? And we did the same thing to our children to make sure that they didn't get in the way of massa.
It's kind of funny you say that because I also read before you came in. I also read a piece of it that talked about basically it stemmed the aggression behavior portion of things from the black community because the way that we were trained in such a like an authoritative environment that it really stemmed a lot of behavior that was really aggressive.
I think that's because maybe they just didn't know.
They didn't.
So if you don't know, you're only going to go with what you understand. But it takes the next generation to say, okay, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to address some things and maybe make them think about it because they don't know. If you don't know, how are you going to say? How are you going to teach somebody something else if you don't know?
That's what's going on now. We're starting to challenge,
and we're starting to come out and we're starting to say, I'm not who you thought I was. I'm not a bad person. I'm not any of these things. I'm just me. I'm still your son. I'm your nephew. I'm your cousin. It's just me. It's just I love different.
Right. Like we're all children of baby boomers, right?
Yes.
So, and just think of the way you view the world versus the way your parents viewed the world.
And a lot of them are a little bit scared of the world because of what they
don't
see out
understand
there.
what's happening because so much has happened in just the past 30 years. The world has changed so much with the invention of the internet. Like that's opened up so many different doors. Like these kids are learning shit that we had to sign up for what's it called? Encyclopedia Britannica in order to learn half the shit you can Google in 2 seconds.
You're right about that. You really are. You really are.
And you're right because in the 70s and early 80s, if you didn't have if you didn't have an encyclopedia,
you didn't know shit.
You didn't have shit.
That's true. There was like a reputation thing.
Yes.
Now I'm going to break this down by generation. So we can also kind of make sure the audience knows exactly what generation perspective we're speaking from. Now, listen, I'm not ashamed of my generation. I'm the one that started with computers in the first grade.
See, you were trendsetter. You started something.
And then I was the green screen.
He might not remember this. Remember dial-up?
Dial-up. I remember
and you were doing some shit when you
heard
that noise.
You thought I'm gonna get on the internet now.
You call your friend in the background. Oh, let me go on the internet
and see like you sound like you special. Man, okay, baby boomers, or the baby boomer generation was born between 1946 to 1954. Baby boomers 2, or Generation Jones, which I didn't know that, was born between 1955 to 1965. Generation X was my generation, was born between 1966 to 1976. Then you have Generation Y, or Echo Boomers, or Millenniums, born between 1977 and 1994. And then now we have Generation Z coming up. I don't know about these motherfuckers. But anyway, 1995 to 2012.
Yeah.
So those born within that's the generation. Now,
so in this room we have Generation X and the Millennials.
Do we have that?
Yeah. Millennials.
Yeah.
So,
like early part of the Millennials?
Yeah, early part of the
Millennials. Whatever that shit you got. They had too many names for my
you kind of lost your attention. You're like, I don't know.
You know. I don't
Bitch,
know. I had like 6 names in that motherfucker. I'm like, damn.
You are more the same age as me. You know.
No, but I'm 77. You 76. Goddamn.
Oh, so I'm the oldest, really?
Yes.
Oh, who gives a shit? Yes.
I was still. As a matter of fact, I wasn't. My mom probably was about 3 months with me when you were born.
3 months. Okay. 3.
No. Actually, no. Yeah, no, because I'm born 2 months early. So I wasn't a full-term baby. So I actually was supposed to be born May, June.
Okay. So I'm the oldest, and guess what? I'll own the shit. I don't give a damn.
That don't mean shit, y'all.
It really don't. As far as actually being the oldest, because I look the youngest. All right. So as far as bullshit. So as far as the results of all of this, where have we come to? Where have we come to as far as parents, black gay children, and raising them more? Has there been a change? Has there been no change? What do we see now?
I think the kids are demanding the change. Like the kids
Yeah.
are saying,
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with
like,
that.
They're calling their own shots. They're saying,
Yeah.
you know what, I don't fit into this person that you want me to be, so I'm not going to be this person.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be who I want to be.
And like I was saying about the internet, like it's really created an outlet for these kids to
Right.
Yeah,
to,
and they
you
can make
know,
connections, and they
right.
can find all these.
They can say it
things
doesn't
that are
have
out there in
to.
these
It doesn't
groups
have to
and-
be this way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't have to be stuck in this box.
But
you know,
the
have
only
an
bad
outlet.
thing about
Yeah.
the internet is that they can find bad things
That's
to get
true.
into, and they
A
can
lot.
find
But I feel
these
like-
hookups, websites
Yeah.
where they, you
Yeah.
know,
True.
Oh,
They
that-
become
and
adults very
everything.
quickly.
But you know,
Quickly.
like I've always said, and it's a terminology I use all the time. People are looking for love in all the wrong dick sizes and assholes, and that kind of no, it's true because it's a lot of people who don't have that father figures,
And they go
after
searching
the
for it.
older men or the older, the older men for that father figure. Yeah, he fucking your brains out, but you get that stern, tell you what to do. You get that father figure that you never had. So it's a benefit for them because they get a dad and they get their rocks off at the same time. And then you have people who are independent who don't want nobody that's like that. They want someone more independent and outgoing. So sometimes our life path
can dictate the future.
Yeah, and
or
it's
what
like,
we
you
look for.
have the good and bad, but I really think that the good kind of outweighs the bad because it just allows like these kids just they haven't had a place to really be themselves. Like if you can't find, let's say you grow up in a really religious household, you can't be yourself in that house.
No, hell no.
But if you go online,
You
and
can be whoever you wanna be.
nobody
Yeah,
knows
that's
your name,
true.
nobody can see your face. You get to really exhibit that side of your personality.
That's
It's
kind of
so
how
funny.
how I started to move into finding myself.
Me too.
That's true. That's how I found
Because
it too.
I got a couple of chat sites and I started to chat with different people that were all over the country, and I was like, oh, it's not just me. I'm not by myself.
Yeah.
So I started to chat with different people, and that's how I met people in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah,
They're chatting with
okay.
people, and I made connections with people. So I was like, this seems like a pretty good place to be. So, and I've met some people who actually seem to care for me. So let me just try moving, and that was kind of how I moved into finding myself and coming here to
Nice.
Fort Lauderdale. I wasn't running from anything
Yeah.
because I wasn't. My family wasn't like that. I was one of the people, or the one in the family who everybody looked to for everything, who everybody could count on, and I was just the one
patriot.
who nobody really had a problem with it, but everybody showed me love, and it was,
Okay.
I didn't have a reason to leave.
Okay.
But my
Okay.
reason for leaving was for me and to find myself and to move into not just me as a gay man, but me as a man, period. Because I've
Right.
learned a lot since being here, and I've met a lot of wonderful people since being here. So I personally didn't run from anything.
Yeah.
I moved to find myself.
It's kind of funny because I remember this picture. I'm not sure if anyone actually saw it. When Michael Jordan's actually crying, right? And Michael Jordan, and this picture with the lady with her face over at a computer, and Michael Jordan with his tears crying, "Lord, I hope she don't find my I did delete my history on the computer." And that's exactly how it was because I was actually in
It was me
college.
in high school.
It was me in college.
Yeah.
I was staying with my grandparents. My parents divorced. We all had to, some of us had to move with grandma and granddaddy. And in that house, that's where you had the computer. And you were like, holy shit. And for one, the computer was slow. So when it popped up, it didn't disappear quickly.
Exactly.
So
and you hitting that button.
so I was hoping it because I was in a different world. I started with AOL chat. That was actually the first time I actually started really talking to all these different people. I'm like, oh wow, this
and
is
you never knew that there were all these people out there who were just like you.
Just
Exactly.
like you.
See, I didn't have all that shit. I started out with the chat line.
Wow.
Oh, like actually talking to people.
Really?
Yes.
The group chat line on the phone or what?
On the phone.
Oh, these are the 900 numbers. They had
No, not 900 numbers. They had local numbers.
Oh, okay.
Talkie.com. And they
What?
still around.
What's it called?
Talkie.com.
See, I ain't doing that.
Right.
I did that one time, and my mother got that bill.
No. That's the point. It was
It was free.
It's a free call.
Now, I got the expensive
It's a
one.
low now that it's cell phones and stuff. It's the numbers are foreign, but it was a local number,
Really?
a local easy number, and you got on there, and it is you reach Talkie.com.
Has there really been any change? Now, mind you, we have different generations. We have different, growth. What is truly the difference now and then? That's our final question. So I'm actually curious. I'm going to go around the table. What do you truly see as the difference between now and the way they actually do things?
I was talking to my friend yesterday, and he's a few years older than me. He has a nephew in high school, and his nephew is gay. He's very obviously gay. He came twirling out of the womb. Right?
Wow.
So, but he said that being gay for him in high school is kind of like the cool thing. Like he's considered like one of the cool kids.
The cool kids?
It's like
gay is a
really
new
cool. Now
thing.
I'll tell you, they're white. So it might be a little bit different. But no, there are black kids. There are black gay kids who are like really popular and gay, and they're like, they're an acting dance team, and you get with the girls, and you get to be cool as shit. I don't know what it's like. I don't know. It might be different for kids who kind of don't fall into that category. Like, I found that when I was in high school, the kids who were like obviously gay, quote unquote,
they were outcasts.
The ones who were like effeminate. No, they were actually like
with the girls.
I was kind of jealous of them. Like they seemed more completely comfortable with themselves. Like you know what I mean? Like they were just like just themselves.
And they didn't apologize. They didn't
apologize. And people kind of just let them be for the most part. I don't know if they had worst experience or not, but from what I saw, they just got to just be themselves.
Yeah.
Whereas I felt like I was kind of like
restricting,
stifling myself, holding back.
Yeah.
And they were just, out there.
They were free.
Okay, I can see that. What do you think, Ricky?
I agree with what you're saying. But there was a story that I wanted to kind of share. It happened during one of the meetings at work. And my coworker, her son is like 12 years old. And he seems to think that there's nothing wrong with disappearing for days at a time. He'll leave on weekends. He does this, and she has to go look for him.
12?
Hell no. 12 years old. So she was having a conversation with one of her friends about what to do about her son. She didn't know. I guess he would bring girls into the house. And
12?
Yes. And the guy...
He got a father in the house?
No.
No wonder.
That's the thing.
I would knock the shit out of his ass.
But this is a kicker. This is what got me. The friend that she was talking to said, well, I guess you should be thankful that he's bringing girls into the house and not boys into the house. And, yeah. So that was my look. I was like, and she's talking, and I haven't, when I work, I don't include my personal life, but, you have conversations with people, whatever, and she thought about what she said. So she kind of paused and she looked and she was like, am I offending somebody by what she said? But I was like, well, what would you have said if he was bringing boys into the house and he was a student and he was respectful and he did what he was supposed to do versus your son who's a hoodlum and he's bringing the girls into the house? Mm-hmm. You're going to be a grandma in a few years. Mm-hmm. You just don't know it.
Exactly.
So true. It's like that's the difference of the generation.
That's another thing that gets me.
He feels he can do it.
Just in general, gay is looked at as worse than like you have worst parents.
If you're a criminal,
their kid could kill somebody. They'll see him every weekend at jail.
Every
weekend at jail, they'll drive 2 hours to visit their dumbass son. But if you're gay, you get kicked out, ostracized.
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. That
especially in the church, you'll be discommunicated. Like it's like you don't exist.
And you get a party for coming out of jail.
Yeah,
you get a party.
In church, as long as you're complying to what they want you to do, you can be the gay choir director who is so creative, and you put the events together, and you can be the one who's the musician who's
fall in love with a man, right?
And you bring them to church with you to hear the word. Then that's a wrap. You got to go. They don't want you to know anything about what they're teaching. You're done. You're done.
It's wild how that can be considered like the worst sin that you could commit. Something that's not even a choice. Like it's not a choice. It's a biological.
And so many people think
that's
that
what it
it's a choice, but you don't have a choice in being black. You don't have a choice in being male or female necessarily. I mean, you can change it later on, but the way that you're brought into the world is kind of the way that you're brought into the world. But when it comes to being gay, it's like you can fight it as much as you want to. But I mean, if it's there's nothing you can do about it after so long. Either you give in or you give up. And when people give up, they give up in ways of committing suicide.
Right.
They give up on life, and they fall into drugs and whatever it is.
50, 60 years of depression. That's what
exactly. That's what you
do.
get. And and me, I'm not one of those people to allow that to happen to myself. I love myself too much to allow what other people think about who I may be define who I'm going to be.
Exactly.
So
I like that. Put that on a shirt.
I know, right?
I know. We should make a shirt with that. We should make a Brothaspeak shirt with that. I'm going to get that idea. I'm sorry to tell you right now. Jason?
Well, you heard it first.
Well, I'll say this. You said a lot. I kind of want to say I never hid myself because I kept it in plain daylight. But being that I was involved with women as well as men, they never looked at the male side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easier to ignore that part.
Right.
Because it was like...
I remember probably at 23, I started going to the gay club. And that was the first thing. Now, cousins came around and said, hey, your son, you need to talk to me about... No, I don't need to talk to you about shit. For me, my family... It was easy for them to accept it. But it's hard for them to deal with it.
So it's easier for them to accept it and not see it. Kind of in a sense.
Well, it's out of
and I think
it's out of sight, out of mind because
if they don't see it, they don't really think about it, but they still know.
But even for me having a partner for 9 years, even when I brought a partner around, the most strong and profound thing my daddy said to me, and it goes back to that word that we don't like. He called me in the room and he's like, "I need to talk to you," and I'm like, "Okay, what you need to talk to me about?" "Oh, you ain't got to run and hide from me. Your lifestyle is your lifestyle. I don't agree with it, but I have no problems. Tell your partner he can come by my house anytime. You ain't got to be here."
That was actually a really nice thing to say.
But for my father, it's hard for him to say stuff like that. So that spoke volumes.
Oh, yeah.
Sure was.
For my mom, I don't think she wanted to accept it at all. And she finally did. And it's just in my family, it's not talked about. I can bring
most black families.
I can bring all of you around and you can be your natural self and it's not going to be a problem. And actually, Chris has had a point to meeting my daddy's side of the family with my sisters because I brought him to my sister's birthday party. And they're more of, when you going to get with him? And I'm like, he's just a friend. No, y'all make a nice couple.
They say he's just a friend.
But this just goes to show how my family is. And this comes from a family that I was in the stepping and they thought I was cheering. Parents are more accepting if you have a child. You had a child.
Because they see a family
structure. You left a legacy.
Right.
Black families are more about legacy. They want you to leave that legacy behind. They want the little Chris, the little Ricky, the little Darnell. They don't care how you did it to get it. You know what I'm saying? And they want them to be straight so that they can continue. The legacy. Right. It's all about the legacy, and I've dealt with that. It's all about the legacy.
Yeah,
that's funny. That's interesting.
It's hard.
It's a male thing. It
really is. It's a male thing.
So.
And even with females, they're like that too. But females are back down faster than males will. But it's the legacy. You can come out.
A lot of mothers, they want grandbabies.
They do. They do.
When you gonna have some babies, when you gonna put some babies up.
If I had a nickel for every time I heard that damn question.
But you know what?
Now I gotta definitely say this for the results for me. As far as the results, I definitely do see the positive movement in terms of how the younger audience, the younger children, black children, are just coming out. And actually being affected in the school, I'm able to see it a little bit more.
You are able to see it so much more than anybody else.
The funny part about it is you see the acceptance of them. But you also see the non-acceptance of them.
Really?
Oh, let me tell you, there's one particular student that, of course I'll never give a name, but you can see that he is clearly... And when people don't come and talk to him, and people don't necessarily, try to bring him to be involved in certain parties or involved in certain events, then you start to ask yourself, well, what's going on here? And there's even another particular student, they like him, but they don't bring him into the circles.
Right.
And so it's very, it depends on the environment, I would also say too, because remember, I'm in an environment that's considered to be an at-risk school, predominantly low-income families, black. And so when you start to see that belief cast among what you see in the classrooms, you see the kids, really, they do have friends, they may not necessarily be accepted so much within the classroom setting, but they found their rooms, they found their friends and their peers among the rest of the school. So you do see that. So, but the funny part of it is the ones that are considered to be a little bit, they have more female friends.
Yes.
Which is kind of true for most black gay guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have more female friends than anything.
Because we identify with. But that's interesting how you see the black gay student from a low income family. You can get to see how who they really are and who their faces are.
Yes.
So that's interesting how they still manage to be themselves even though they come from low income families. And those families there's usually less education, so they're not going to be up on a lot of things. They're not going to understand how to relate to their child who is gay or lesbian.
But one thing I am going
or
to
even
say,
bisexual.
Exactly.
Either.
But one thing I am definitely going to say is that the power of the media has definitely helped the LGBT community, black included. Because now you're walking in, you're able to see it, you're able to laugh at them, you're able to see all the shows that really kind of bring them into your daily, your weekly programming, and you're seeing this, and you're becoming a little bit more comfortable. So subconsciously, you are beginning to say, you know what, ain't nothing wrong with them.
Because my mom, I remember there was an episode, I guess I can say it, on Empire. The son who's gay.
I want to talk about that past weekend. Wait a minute. Okay, all right.
I caught up yet.
I haven't seen it because I have to take a weekend. I took a weekend. But it was interesting because to hear my mom say it, I don't understand what the people, their problems are with gay people, with gay and women that because I don't think there's anything wrong with being gay. I think that you guys are very creative and there's a lot of, and it was funny to me, but it really wasn't funny because it's to hear my mom say it, it's you would have to know her in order to understand where she was coming from. But I was I wish I could give you a hug, I do. But it was funny to me to hear her say that, and my mom was she's 69. Okay. So to hear her say that from her generation, to accept it, it's wow, and she was just dead serious. She's gay people are so creative, and I don't understand what people have against gay people. I don't understand it.
She had an epiphany.
I like that.
It was such a and even with my dad before he passed away, he used to call me he used to call me Sugarfoots. It was funny. And I didn't understand it at that point. But I got it years and years and years later. Because he used to call me Sugarfoots. And I was the only one that had a nickname. But before he passed away, he was on his deathbed and he said, I love all of my sons. And there's 3 of us, 3 boys. He said, I love all of my sons. No matter who you are or what you become in life, I'm still going to love you. I still, it doesn't matter. Be you.
Wow. That's so
was
cool.
It. I was wow.
I think we've kind of touched on how
we did.
How
everything
the older generation has changed.
Exactly.
We have.
Exactly. And there's a connection now, especially if they can see who you are and they understand you and they still love you regardless.
Right.
And their love for you doesn't change.
Loving their children is far more important.
Exactly. Trying to make you wrong for what you're doing.
Than falling in line with what the church says. Loving your child is far more important.
It was funny when I caught my mama watching Will and Grace.
I love that show.
I'm like, Mom, you watching Will and Grace?
You know what they do, right?
You know what this show is about.
No, and it's funny because, you got Jack, this...
flamboyant.
Yes.
Very
out there. All he want to do is sleep with the next man that come along. And then you have Will, who
was completely the opposite.
Yeah. So it gave her some kind of insight.
But did she understand it, though?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes,
that was my question.
It's a learning process.
It's a learning process.
She had a
See, she ain't gonna sit down and ask questions,
Okay, so we're going to move on to positive moment. So positive moment is where we actually, usually when it comes to the topics, we actually kind of lighten things up. But actually, we ended off not that bad. We actually ended off pretty close. But I do want to give a piece of information pertaining to a black media company releasing its first animated series that teaches children authentic African-American history. And to me, I thought this was actually pretty good. It's a company based in Baltimore called Ed Anime Productions produces Mailtrick and creates world biz and educational animated series. Now, the thing about it is even though a lot of these programs these days, like PBS Kids, Disney, and Nickelodeon, meant some success in terms of engaging in programming for entertainment. However, there are a few educational shows that address the cultural, historical needs of children of color. So, when it came down to this particular company, this company is co-founded by a host of African American teenagers and young adults, was created to address the actual deficiencies, basically. Their flagship animated series, Male Trek, was a collection of lessons designed to teach children about the history, culture, and contributions of African Americans from 3000 BCE to 2008, using hip-hop music as a teaching tool. Now, the objective of Male Trek is to preserve African American history, foster self-awareness, self-esteem, and solidarity, and to project positive images of African Americans into the national consciousness. Now, to me, when you hear that, and I was just having this conversation about cartoons today. I say cartoons of my time, you always end it with a lesson. G.I. Joe, or you end it with some form of a lesson within, and then the character sums it up at the end and tells the kids something that they should know. I don't know if you're getting that now. I don't know if SpongeBob really does that.
I don't think so.
I don't think they do that anymore. And what people don't understand is the fact, usually as part of the production, they will have a child psychologist or therapist as part of to be able to give that lesson to the kids, and the kids walk away with a lot. Like Thundercats. Thundercats, you walked away with a lesson. I love the Thundercats. Oh my God.
Voltron was my
Voltron. Well, not Voltron so much, but
no, it didn't give a lesson, but I like Voltron.
But actually, I think Transformers even gave certain lessons.
Yes, Transformers.
So I mean, He-Man, they all gave a lesson that we walk away with. Whereas the generation I don't know now really grabs that. But it's very good to see that it's actually kind of coming back. And on top of that, a little more self-awareness and know exactly who you are. To me, that's a positive moment. I definitely want to make sure I said that. So, now from this point on, we kind of move to this bitch of the week.
So, I have another crazy, fucked up, messed up story time, and we're going to name her This Bitch.
So, usually during this bitch, we actually complain about a person, place, or thing. Whether it be anything we want to talk about, does not matter. We just vent and let this shit off our chest. So, I'm going to just roll this around to Darnell. I see a little finger, and I'm going to let Darnell take it away. Tell me what your This Bitch of the Week is now.
I should say this racist asshole.
Oh, wow.
You need a little backstory. Do you guys know this rapper, Azalea Banks?
Oh, God. Yeah.
She's had a very active week on Twitter. All right, so there's this member of One Direction. He left One Direction. He's solo. His name is Zayn. He's come out with this album. It's actually pretty good. And he put out this video that was, had some aesthetics that Azalea found very similar to things that she's done in the past. And so she tweets at him, you follow my shit. She's trying to be all cute. And he's like, he doesn't even at her on Twitter. when you don't at somebody on Twitter, but you're talking about them, it's called a subtweet, and that pisses people off. And it pissed her off. He's British. He's like half white and half South Asian, and she just went off. She started calling him all kinds of racist slurs.
What?
She called him something like a curry scented bitch, and a Punjab, and she called him a sand nigger. She went ballistic.
This is a rapper, right?
Yeah, this rapper.
She was already in trouble with some other things.
She's
before.
always in trouble. Every
so
other
now
week she's
all of a
cursing
sudden,
somebody out on Twitter.
Wow.
So
because somebody ain't walked up and whooped her ass.
I think that's what it
She need a
is.
good country beat down ass whooping. That's what
she'll
did.
learn today.
So she went off on him. She just kept going, and he didn't respond at all, which is probably the best way to go with somebody who sounds
somebody's like that. Yeah,
you don't pay any attention to it.
So there's this Disney Channel star, this 14-year-old black girl who's on. She used to be on the show called Jessie, and now she's on the spinoff. And she's a really pretty girl. Really, she just she tweeted something like, "Azalea Banks needs to calm down." Or something, and Azalea
went in on her
on a 14-year-old girl. This girl's 23 years old.
Who's gonna be next? A pregnant lady?
Right? She really went off on this girl. She started saying that she needs to have her menses before she talks to her ever again.
Oh my god!
And that she called her a coon. She really lost her shit about this. And the thing I found is a number of people have kind of come to her defense, Azalea's defense, saying she's a black woman. The black woman's always being put down. I agree with that. That happens. But when you are being blatantly racist and attacking a
For
child
no reason.
for no
reason.
good
And you're the
goddamn
adult.
reason, you're the adult. You need to be called out. She got banned from Twitter, and she's posting shit on Instagram now like Twitter banned me. Whiteness is an illness, and I agree with that. But she's like trying to blame. She's trying to blame everybody else for her own issues and lashing out at people. She needs somebody to. She really does need somebody to come up to her and just.
And
just
I remember there
curse
was
her out in her face.
But she tried to attribute a lot of her mistakes as to, well, I'm brand new to the business, so I had no grooming, and I just was thrown on stage.
She's just an asshole.
That's what she said.
She's just an asshole.
She tried to contribute it to that.
Who wants
It's like,
no accountability for saying this stuff.
But I thought that 14-year-old put her ass in her place.
She really did.
She put
got
her
her
ass
in her
I'm
place.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. A 14-year-old smart girl,
And
too.
that made her even angrier. She's like, I got put in my place by a 14-year-old, so she went even.
And she got
went
kicked
even
off
harder.
the
She
tour,
got,
didn't she?
She
Kicked
got
off a show, a UK
a festival.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
might be banned from the UK. Yeah,
The fuck?
they
They
might
can do
be-
that?
wow.
Yeah, they might do that because
So-
she's being blatantly racist toward people, and she thinks
And
it's
nobody's
okay.
gonna want to see her or promote her or anything else with her behavior like that.
Like, how does she think her career is gonna grow if she's starting shit? She needs to get her shit together. I'm not here for her career. I don't think anybody else should be. She needs to go quit it and work. I don't know. She needs to go work at Ross or something.
We don't need her ass there.
We don't.
Because that's where a lot of black
That
men
way,
shop.
no, because that way she gonna get her ass whooped.
Oh, yeah.
Stacked
You're actually
across
right about
the
that.
couch.
So maybe she needs to work at Ross.
That's where the minorities go. So
Yeah,
it's like,
actually,
okay.
wrong.
That way
Right
she
about
gonna get her ass whooped at
Every day in the
Ross.
parking lot, huh? Somebody waiting for her.
Bitch, come outside.
I bet you won't.
All right, Ricky, what's your bitch of the week?
Oh, God. I guess mine would be relationships.
Ooh, pull up the couch. Pull up the couch.
Lay
I
down,
just-
baby. Lay
I
down.
just find it hard sometimes to when you have to deal with and I'm trying to phrase it very carefully. I really am.
You never know who's listening.
I know, right?
Lord, okay.
But you try to stay on the same page with people, and you try to find commonalities, and you work on things, but sometimes you have a hard time with trying to be pleasing to the other person. And if you continue to try, it's like, okay, well, nothing I do is working. So what the hell do you want from me? So you kind of you try and you give it your all, and you question sometimes.
I gave my home.
Thank you for that.
You're right.
I mean, you can.
Same Mariah.
Continue to work, and you do what you do because when your hearts and things or whatever you do that. But at some point you question. Again, that phrase you just gave. What do you want? So that's kind of it's not a bitch moment.
Yeah,
But it's kind of like one of those moments where it's
Cover
like,
your ass. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Right? Cover your ass.
You're there.
Yeah.
But it's one of those moments where it's kind of like a rant. It's like, okay, well, I know eventually more than likely things will be okay, but at the same time, what the hell do you want? I'm trying and I'm doing things I never did in relationships before.
Yeah.
Because I've learned that I'm a little bit self-centered, but I'm working on me in life, not just in terms of a relationship, but just me, period.
Yeah.
So when you're working to try to change those things, when you're being told it's not what is required or what's wanted, it's like, okay, well, I'm doing a lot of shit that I didn't do before.
You know what? Let it be. You know what? We're all human. We are all human. We're all trying to get sick.
Relationships are an evolution.
Yes,
They
it
are.
is. It really is.
And I'm
It really
learning that I'm changing and I'm growing with each day, with each hour, whatever. I'm becoming more of maybe who I should be.
Right.
And every person that comes into your life changes your life. So that's the thing that I'm looking at. That's the thing that I'm trying to move forward in. But it's one of those things where I have a temper sometimes.
Johnny Gill and Stacey Lattisaw. Where do we go from here?
Gotta pull that up on YouTube. All right, Jason. What's your this bitch of the week moment?
I think I've been holding this one a little too long. But,
Oh Lord.
no. Y'all asked me this 2 weeks ago when we came together, and Well, we're in South Florida, and we have what we call Fleet Week. And Fleet Week, it's when the Navy ships come into our port. And we were busy because of Fleet Week. I had a major order where I had like almost 65 items that had to be distributed out. And I had no driver.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I called the manager like, hey, where my driver's at? He calling everybody else, but nobody showed up. So what happened is I got furious. The inner asshole kicked in. And as the phone is ringing off the hook, I'm in between 3 different positions trying to get shit done because I got to get this product out. I had to literally tell, and I'm not calling my boss a bitch, but I had to literally tell this bitch, if you don't get somebody here right motherfucking now in the next 30, 40 minutes, I'm gonna lock these goddamn doors and there will be no more service and you can come pick up your key from there.
Okay. Whew. All right then.
Stay tuned, huh?
I know. Stay tuned.
Because it's about to go down.
Well. I hope they take you seriously.
I know. They're gonna learn today, huh?
Well, my this bitch moment is just a little concern. That's all. It's just a concern. You know, a lot of things that he also.
Bitch, go ahead.
That's all. It's some things that you gotta give homage to the history. You know, you gotta say thank you, guys. You know, and when this bitch or when these mother bitches, mother bitches, don't give credit for who really.
Girl.
I know. I don't normally smack. Who don't give credit for who really created the Running Man. I have a problem with that. Look at the new dance.
Did you see the viral thing that's going on?
I love what type of dance is this shit?
I was like, that's
that
a
I'm
mixture.
seeing. The Running Man, you really ran.
Exactly.
You really did the pumping of the fist, and you really did the back.
And they're being lazy with
That's a skip. It looked like a fucking skip.
A
I don't know what the
sideways
hell
skip.
this is. I don't know what type of dance craze. But bottom line is that, listen, okay, at least implement some arm movement.
Yeah, I was confused when I saw it. I said, that's not the Running Man. What's this?
Listen, I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
What? You have not seen the dance?
It's going viral. They had the Miami Police Department doing it. I was like, is this real? Once again, I'm wondering, are these real people? They're supposed to be protecting us, and they're inside doing the Running Man the wrong way.
The wrong way.
The wrong way.
But you know what?
I don't kill nobody. Bottom line, you give homage to those who actually came before you, and the Running Man deserves a little bit better of respect with the recreation of a dance.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. That's my diss bitch of this week.
And I even doing that with haircuts.
That's that.
Oh yeah, everybody has a high top now.
It's called a Labusi or some shit.
They renamed it?
Yes.
They renamed the high top fade.
Are you serious?
I don't know if that's the right name
I hope
for
to
it.
God not.
But yeah, they renamed the high top fade.
I thought it was just the fade.
This happens every 20
go.
years.
Yeah.
Every
But
20
I haven't been
years,
to
you
the-
copy
to
what
the
happened 20
barbershop.
years
Yeah,
before.
we know that.
Lord Jesus Christ. So at this particular point,
Oh
we're
my
now
God.
winding down to, normally we actually rotate a segment, but actually what we're going to do is actually changing a segment, and we're going to just kind of put the rotating segment on once a month. We give it once a month. But we actually have a new segment that Ricky came up with, and are you ready for
Yeah,
that?
I mean, but
Are you ready for it? No.
I actually
That's what's wrong with them, Chris. They put your foot. We're giving out of the spirit of Christ ahead of our life. Brother Ricky gonna come sing a solo. You said you see like, bitch, I wasn't ready to sing.
And that's exactly what he said.
That was my face. I was like, wait a minute.
Did I have something?
If you're ready, let's
Forgive me, I'm hoarse.
yeah.
I actually do, and I guess we can tell them how the segment came about.
Well, basically, I want to see how we can actually
I'm
make it
looking.
more interactive with some people, some audience that we are now gaining. By the way, we gained a little bit organically. But the thing about it is, I'm looking in terms of okay, well, what would be the best way to actually get people, because we don't have a live call-in, so what's the best way to do it? On the internet. So Ricky came up with a great idea to post certain questions to see how the audience would answer those questions and give their opinions about it. So he had a question of the week or the day. How'd you do it?
Yeah, I do it weekly. I try to post a question every Sunday, and I give them until maybe Wednesday. Then I'll repost it again for those who maybe didn't get an opportunity to respond. But I actually recently created a page. It's called Intimate Moments, and people can go on and you can,
Facebook.
Yes, Facebook. So you can go on and you can request. You can become part of the group or whatever, and you can answer the question of the week, or you can actually post a question of the week if you choose to.
Nice.
Because I think it's all about communication. That's what my goal in it is, to be able to get as many people on board as possible.
Yes.
To be able to have them to display what they think and what their thoughts are, and just to get them involved in what we're doing.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
So actually, the first question that I posted, which I think will be something that everybody could pretty much give a response to.
Okay, all right.
It was regarding politics. Should you speak politics at the workplace?
Okay.
And I got some interesting responses back from that one.
All
Let's
right.
find it.
Let's go around real quick. Should we speak politics in the workplace? Me personally, it depends, because some companies it can be very political. Some companies really are Republican, pro-Republican, and if you're not, to voice that opinion could cost you your job.
To me, it depends on how well you know the coworkers that you're talking to.
That is true.
Yes.
Like, I share an office with 2 other people, and with them, I would feel perfectly comfortable talking about politics.
Okay.
But you put me in the lunchroom around a bunch of other people, and I'll keep my mouth shut.
Yeah,
I will keep my mouth shut. Don't
yeah.
feel like getting into it. I just want to go home at 6 o'clock and not have to worry about any of this. Yeah.
You're right. I think you're right about that, JT.
When it comes to politics,
Politics.
When it comes to politics, I think no, it shouldn't be done in the workplace. Like you said with Darnell, if it's someone who you're comfortable with, yes, you can talk to them because it's a friendly conversation. As you said, when it comes to major corporations, yeah, because you're gonna see the big Donald Trumps. Perfect example. It's a law firm around the corner from where I work, and they got one sign hanging up on the goddamn biggest building, and they got one sign hanging by the sidewalk. Donald Trump in blue.
Wow. So I'm kind of curious, what exactly are you people saying online?
One person said, she said, I think it's not smart talking politics anywhere with those who differ from you, especially if you have different views. It can spoil relationships, friendships, and it's much like speaking religion. Both subjects, I believe, in participating in, I don't believe in participating in period with those who differ with me. Bad office decorum.
Are you able to give the first name, at least? The first
Yeah, this is Mary.
Thank you, Mary, for your response.
You, Mary.
What's the next one?
So the next person is Chris. So Chris says, I don't think politics should be discussed at work. It's not the place, especially in this day. Obvious reasons. It could jeopardize trust and ultimately damage moral. I won't go into specifics, but recently it's changed my opinions of someone whose character, because of it, or it's changed his opinion of their character based upon the conversation that they had.
Wow, that's actually true. Thank you very much, Chris. We appreciate that.
One person, and I can kind of paraphrase this, Camellia. She said that she lived in Indianapolis. She was there for a few years, and she was surrounded by mainly Caucasians.
Okay, all right.
So she said that she didn't really give any feedback because she felt like she was a minority in the group. So she was like, I'm not going to participate. I'm not going to say very much because I'm going to be smart about it, because these white people may turn on me. So I'm the only black in this group. So I'm just going to sit there and pay attention. I'm not going to really say very much of anything.
That's true.
So she was a minority in that situation, but that was her thing. She was like, I don't feel like I'm going to. I don't feel comfortable enough to do it.
I actually agree with you on that one. I probably wouldn't have done it either. What's her name again?
Camellia.
Hello, Camellia. Thank you very much for responding.
Yeah.
And the next one, the last one.
So I do have one from Cindy. She said she dealt with it but she did not agree with it either. The people in her department, they are opinionated. Ooh. And she's one who's opinionated as well. So she has to watch what she said. And that was basically what she was saying, is she sometimes doesn't think about what she says, it just spews out. And she's one of those people that she can't. She has to be careful with what she says.
From that.
Yeah, exactly. So she says that she doesn't think that it's something that she wants to be a part of. She's tried it and it didn't work. Some conversations you just really can't have, in the workplace.
Yeah.
So that was this week's or the last question, which was, should you speak politics in the workplace?
Okay.
So the next one that's going to be coming up is going to be regarding relationships.
Ooh.
And that gave me some decent feedback. That one was interesting. So
it.
they think outside of the box of this question. So it's like, this is going to be interesting.
Nice.
If you have a comment or if you have a question or, whatever, post it. Somebody may have an answer for you, within that group.
Yeah.
Or we could speak about it or whatever. Just, that's what we do.
Okay.
That's what we're here for.
All right.
So next week's question was, or the next question that's going to be coming up is, how well do you know your mate?
Boy. How well do you know your mate?
Yeah.
I was asking, All right, so thank you very much for that. We're going to move on to the next. And this is where
You struck a nerve. We're going to be waiting for your comment next week.
I'm going to edit that part. All right, so what we're going to do.
You ain't got to edit it because I'm going to bring it back up next week.
So what we're going to do, we're actually going to end the segment, but of course I always end up with some words of wisdom to end out the entire podcast. And this is something I actually found that actually was very interesting. You have sole ownership of your vision, and the universe will give you what you want within your vision. What happens with most people is that they muddy their vision with quote-unquote reality. Their vision becomes full of not only what they want, but what everybody else thinks about what they want. Your work is to clarity and purify your vision so that the vibration that you are offering can then be answered. So that's something to think about, guys. Thank you so much for joining Brothaspeak Podcast again. We're going to come back with another interesting topic, and I think next week you definitely want to tune into that. So we'll end this out with goodbye.
Yeah, you can find us at brotherspeakpod.com and also on Instagram and Facebook.
Thank you so much. Have a good night, y'all.
All right, peace.